Hi, Sam here from Barnhanger Studios, and today I'm going to show you how we record guitar here and how we run it through our amps and our reamping process that we like to go through to get the best recordings for all circumstances. So first of all, there's two sort of types of scenarios for guitar recording. One is when it's providing a reference for a drummer in the live room, in which case the guitarist will be right here in the control room recording the guitar parts so the drummer can hear them. In that case, that would almost always be a DI'd guitar, so it doesn't bleed too much into the drum mics. That's not to say there won't be the final guitar part, because obviously we can use that DI'd guitar part and we can put it through the amps later once the drums have been cleared, just to kind of get that the best recordings with as little bleed as is humanly possible. So I'm going to quickly show you on the other camera exactly what we've got going on. So this is the setup I'm using for my guitar effects at the moment. So that's I've got a Boss GT100 pedal board, and there's a DI box next to it, and you can see there's loads of wires going in and out. So essentially, this wire here is going directly into the desk, and this wire here is going into the desk, but it's going in as a dry signal. So one's printing the effects and the other one's just printing a dry signal. And the reason we like to print a dry signal as well as an effect signal is because if we want to change the effects later, we can run it back through the effects board and run it through an amplifier later. Okay, so now we're in the control room, and we've got the two tracks that we just recorded from the guitar. So the top track here is the dry DI, which has got no reverb on it. You just play this. And this bottom one is the effect DI, which has got the reverb from the Boss pedal on it. There, and as you can see, we've got the two faders here we can control as well if we just want to blend them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to reamp those, or one of those DIs, and we're going to put it into our Vox AC30 in our live room. So the way we do this is we're going to make a new track, which is going to be here. I'm just going to name this EG Vox AC30 57, just so there's no confusion. So we're going to mute the dry DI. And we're just going to play the effect DI. What's going on there? Yeah, so now we've got a track for the SM57 that we're going to put on the amp. So we're going to mute the track and arm the track. That's the first thing. And then, if I show you on the other camera. Okay, I'm going to try and do this one-handed. So here's our view of the patch bay. If you see where the 7s are, those are the inputs for the 7, but these are the outputs. So if I plug in to the output 7 with my reamping box, as you can see here, get these off Amazon or anywhere else, I put those up there, and if I now plug in another TRS cable into this, blah, blah, there we go, another TRS cable, and I take the end of that TRS cable and run a line into the live room. As we are now, we're into the live room, and I'm going to run a line into the AC30. I'm not going to turn the AC30 on just yet, and now I'm going to go back to the desk and run some levels. Okay, now I'm back on the desk, having run a line into the live room from our console, and it's running straight to the amp through a reamping box. Now what that means is on my 7th output, which is the one we selected, I've now got my DAW's audio running out through that output and running into the amp. So in theory, if I turn that amp on and I play a segment from Logic, it should play out through the amp. So I'm just going to mute the dry DI because we're trying to capture the effects DI. I'm going to take away the counting. I'm just going to run it from where the audio starts. And now we're going to go back into Live Room and we're going to assemble an SM57 and we're going to turn the AC30 on and capture what sounds come out of their amp. Okay, now we're back in the Live Room and you see we're set up a 57 and we're just going to go just off the side of the cone there on axis, and then we've got the input there coming in from the desk. So I'm just going to turn the AC30 on, and I've set the AC30 up to receive a looped signal from the console, so we should start to hear some sound. Okay, so it's a valve amp, so we're just waiting for those valves to warm up. So as you could hear there from the Live Room, we've got signal directly to the amp from the console. So, and it's running very clean as well. So we've checked to make sure nothing's overdriving, because we want a very clean sound. The way to do this is just to attenuate with the reamping knob and not the output level from your console. You want your console output to be completely at unity, and then you want to attenuate with your reamping knob, and then make sure things are grounded of the like. So now we've got a 57 running there. So we've got the 57 coming down on channel 1. So if I arm this for recording, what we can do now is we can record that whole segment and we can record the 57. And what's more is we could put multiple microphones on that amp. We could record another amp. We could, if we had multiple performances on DI, we could put all of that through, and we could have a massive array for the mixing engineer to choose from when it comes to, finalizing the track. So if we just go ahead and record all of these parts with that SM57 on the AC30, we see what results we get. So now, as you can see on Logic, I've got not only the DI performance, but I've also got a amp performance. I'm doing that after the fact. The huge benefit of this is if we had a drummer in the Live Room playing and we wanted to record a guitarist and a bassist, what we'd do is record the guitarist and the bassist through a DI, and then once the drummer's done all of his tracks, we'll then put those DI performances back through the amp. We could also do like another performance as well to add a stereo image, but we can keep, what made the performance great and then just reamping it later. I much prefer doing that than doing, a drum day and then afterwards recording guitars and recording through the amps or whatever. And I'm very against, having bleed in my performances. Some people find it desirable, but I think it only works in like a lightning in a bottle situation. I think 9 times out of 10, you want the elements as separate as possible so you can combine them as you wish. So yeah, that's how we record guitar, or how I record guitar at Barnhanger Studios. Of course, if you're renting a space out for yourself, you can do anything you want with the equipment available. So I'm going to do an outro here of the final performance with the video attached, so you can see that as well. So yeah, thank you for watching.